I'm Gauri Shrestha, currently a lecturer at Institute of Medicine, and I'm currently pursuing PhD under scientific PhD scholarships scheme at the UNSW Sydney, Australia. So today we are so pleased to have our eminent speakers from all around, like from India, Nepal, Pakistan, and all, for these sessions. And I believe that this session is going to be a very informative and clinically applicable. So I also thank all participants who are present with us. I request all participants to bear with us if there is any technical issues. We definitely will try to fix them in no time. And I also request attendees to keep their mic muted. And instead, you can raise your hands to ask questions, but this is at the end of the presentations, or you can also type in the chat box. And moreover, I would like to note that we will be taking just maybe two questions for each presenter because of the time constraints. And if you have any pressing questions, in case we could not accommodate them in the sessions, kindly be open with our presenters in a personal communications. And before I call the presenters, I request them also share their presentation slides while I introduce them. I also request our technical team to facilitate our esteemed presenters with the helping them screen sharing and unmute the mic. I would like to call, and it's a privilege to call our Optum Ankit Varshney. Sorry if I spell wrongly, and who is also an assistant professor at Sri Bharati Maya College of Optometry, Gujarat, and a clinical optometrist at Sangvi Eye Hospital. And he will be talking about a comprehensive study on the correction of astigmatic refractive error in myopia cases by standard customized LASIK surgery. So I request uh, Varshney to share his screen.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gauri sir, for introducing. It's a very privilege for me to be a presenter in such a very wonderful virtual conference, which is Advancing Optometry Education. I would like to thank Mr. Kapil, who is continuously coordinating with me for this conference. So, the theme of today's session is research update. So, my title is a comparative study on astigmatic refractive error correction in case of myopic eyes by standard and customized LASIK surgery. So, as we all know, that nowadays we have various modalities to correct the refractive error. And ophthalmologists suggest LASIK as the first mode of treatment if the patient wants it, or the age is beyond 18. And nowadays we are hearing as an optometrist in the clinic that LASIK should be done to those who have a very normal cornea and who can go for LASIK. So let's see the condition. As you all know, LASIK is a laser assisted in situ keratomiliosis. So keratomiliosis means carving of the cornea or reshaping of the cornea by a laser. Okay, so it is the world's most popular reshaping technique for the correction of myopia or hypermetropia or astigmatism or a combination. It's a unquestionable advantage. So they give a very good advantage, like you will have a rapid visual recovery, relatively absence of pain, ease of performing treatment, and greater refractive stability. It can be done. So LASIK can be done by a laser. So a laser like excimer laser is applied. Again, you need to create a flap. So it can be done either by microkeratome, which is a blade, or a femtolaser. Femtosecond laser is done. Okay. So by using this, you can reshape or ablate the corneal tissues from the corneal stroma to change the refractive power of the cornea. So in this, we are just reshaping the cornea. We are just changing the curvature of the cornea in order to improve the visual acuity. okay, or making the eye near to emetropia. Okay, along with this, LASIKs are not only giving us the advantage of correcting the lower order aberrations which are refractive error, they are also correcting higher order aberrations, okay, like trefoil, coma, spherical aberrations. So we are also interested in knowing whether which type of surgery, like customized LASIK or a standard LASIK, which of these will also correct the higher order aberrations. Okay, so as we all know, LASIK provide a permanent alternative to correct refractive error rather than eyeglasses or contact lenses. Okay, so the laser used is excimer, which was derived from a chemical compound, excited dimer. The gas used for the laser is argon fluoride, which is ARF, having an ultraviolet energy at a wavelength of 193 nanometer for corneal ablation. Okay, so as I have told that there are two types of LASIK surgeries done. One is customized, another is standard. So in customized, they use a random uh, spots are being done, or the flying spots has been done for the laser, while for your standard there is a flat laser has been applied. So because of the flat or a beam laser, you might sometimes feel that there is only a particular area of a cornea has been ablated, while with the flying spots, okay, or the random flight spots, the overall cornea is been ablated and it converted into a prolate shape. So this give a very good advantage of reshaping the cornea. So LASIK, customized LASIK is a variation of refractive surgery wherein in the preoperative stage, a highly precise roadmap of eye is generated, detailing all the higher and lower order aberrations in the eye. So in this, we not only uh, make the eye emetropic, near to emetropic, but we are also reducing the higher order aberrations, which ultimately improve the visual performances by reducing the glare also, or by increasing the contrast to some extent. Okay, so ocular aberrations are also been reduced by using a customized LASIK. So we are interested in knowing whether it actually happens or not. Okay, so in our study, we compared standard and customized LASIK surgery, and we have seen the effect of higher order aberrations in night vision, as well as the amount of refractive error correction, as well as the contrast sensitivity. So let's see the aim and objective. So the aim is very clear. We want to compare the myopic astigmatic refractive errors by customized and standard LASIK surgery. The background, as we all know, refractive surgeries are evolving day by day, and its various outcomes, disadvantages, advantages are coming to the optometrist as well as ophthalmologist. We need to identify which surgery is working for mild to moderate myopia with astigmatism, and these surgeries like standard and customized LASIK does result vary in relation to following. First is whether custom and standard surgeries are equal or they differ between two. Second is whether both type of surgeries have different effects on contrast, higher order aberrations, and night vision. So this is the main motto of the research, to understand whether we should make a patient understand that this surgery or that surgery is better or both are same. Okay, so objective number one, visual outcome has been checked with standard and wavefront or customized
हाँ
LASIK guided surgery, and second is the effect of contrast in standard and customized LASIK surgery, and third the effect on night vision or any other complications with either of the surgeries has been observed. Okay, there are certain delimitations, like we cannot have the follow-ups of 3 months to 6 months, so we have just limited it to 1 month. Okay, because of time constriction, and the patients are also not always convinced to come after 3 months or 6 months. Okay, night vision was not possible with any gadget, so we have taken just a questionnaire to understand whether the patient is having problem with night vision or not. And we have just taken the myopia of -6 diopter and astigmatism of 6 diopter. So beyond that, there was a limitation with the LASIK surgery also. So we have just keep -6 for myopia and -6 for astigmatism. This is the maximum limit. Methodology. So uh, we have designed the study in a manner that it wasn't just an observation because I am optometrist, I cannot perform surgery. So it was, for me, it's an observational prospective study. Okay, and it was done on 200 eyes. So 100 eyes for customized patients and 100 eyes for standard patients for 1 year period at a tertiary center, which is KSVI Hospital, and the surgery was done at IVU Laser Vision Center. So because uh, KSVI was just a primary hospital to assess whether the patient wants LASIK, we counsel them at that center and we convince them. So once the patient gives the consent, we ask them to go to the IVU Laser center where the LASIK surgery got done. So we have just make two groups. One was a custom group, another was standard group, wherein in group one, 50 patients or 100 eyes were taken for custom LASIK surgery, while in group two, 50 patients or 100 eyes were taken for standard LASIK surgery. The consent was taken prior LASIK surgery and the procedure was performed accordingly. Let's see the inclusion criteria. Patient who gave the consent for the procedure after informing about potential risk, benefit, and their realistic expectation were only included. While the age was above 18 to 40, because as we know that below 18 or till 18, there is a chance of having a increase in the axial length due to the growth of the body. So we have, as per the standard, we have taken it above 18 to 40 because we don't want to treat the presbyopic patients in our research. And even we have checked whether the refractive status was stable for at least 1 year. The refractive error was up to -6 for myopia and as well as -6 for astigmatism, and the follow-up was 1 month. So we were not able to check 3 month and 6 month follow-up in this because of time constriction. Again, the we have seen the pachymetry of the patient that the residual bed thickness for standard should be greater than or equal to 250 microns or micrometer, and for customized it should be greater than or equal to 300 microns. So 250 for standard and 300 for custom was taken as the minimum, or sorry, the maximum limit for the residual bed. Exclusion, obviously, greater than 6 diopter of myopia or astigmatism were excluded. Hypermetropic patients were not taken in our research. Any corneal conditions like keratoconus or any irregularity, dystrophies or scar were excluded. Any posterior segment problems, glaucoma were excluded. Any corneal surgeries, any history of that has been excluded, and the age of below 18 and more than 40 was excluded. Even we have checked the topography and pentacam for all the patients who want or who underwent a LASIK surgery. So if we found any abnormality in the topography reports or pentagram reports, we have excluded them. So in the preoperative evaluation, prior to LASIK, we have performed all the basic tests like demographic data, detailed history, and slit lamp was observed. Uncorrected visual acuity, best corrected visual acuity with Snellen. Refraction was done, dilated, undilated with 1% cyclopentolate. IOP was measured. Contrast sensitivity was measured. Tear Baker time was checked to know whether the patient is having dry eye or not. Okay, because it is also in contraindication. Sometimes doctors refuses to perform LASIK surgery if the patient is suffering from dry eye. Okay, we have also checked for the higher order aberrations and the refractive error, their limit. Okay, we have checked topography for the corneal abnormalities. Pachymetry was checked for corneal thickness, and detailed fundus examination was done to rule out any ocular pathologies at posterior segment. Okay, and pre-operative drugs were given and instructions were given. On the day of surgery, fasting was not advised because the patient sometimes may have a weakness. So these is all the things at the time of surgery. You all can see that we have planned in the wavefront because it is an iris guided technique, which is a custom view. So even if a patient move their eyes, the iris guided technique or the wavefront technique will uh, check and do the LASIK surgery accordingly. So because it have a flying spot, random flying spot, it generates. So even if you move your eye sometimes, so the guided technique will do accordingly. While in standard there is a problem if the patient move the eye at the time of surgery on the OT table, you might have difficulty while performing the LASIK. So we have asked the patient to follow all the instructions properly. The final aim for the surgery was taken according to the Maloney's nomogram. So we have just corrected the refractive error accordingly, and we have used Amadeus 2 microcaratom in case of where we were using a flap. So blade was used Amadeus 2, okay, with a flap size of 140 micrometer. The hinge size was 9 to 9.5 mm. Okay, so this is all the procedure which we have done pre-operative. Okay, again in post-operative we have performed all the things like at 1 week and 1 month follow-up. We have asked the patient to uh, 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 inform us whether they were having any inability to see in the bright light, especially in night driving, because we were interested in knowing the problem in night driving as well for the glare. Okay. Also, we have rule out for any redness, watering, or dryness, itching in 1 week and 1 month. Follow any ocular headache, any headache, sorry, or eye ache has been reported if the patient was reporting. So we have reported that also, and the level of satisfaction was asked between both groups. Again, in first week and first month follow up, we have also checked the IOP slit lamp was in slit lamp. We have also look out for any striations or folds or any corneal edema or any deformity at the time of surgery. Visual acuity was checked in both follow ups. Contrast was checked with the help of paliropsin to rule out whether there was any increase in contrast or it was remaining same or it decreased, which was prior. So that was also recorded, and also we have done the wave scan aberrometry post operatively to rule out whether there is an increase in higher order aberration or decrease in higher order aberration or it remains same. So it was also rule out, and tomography was also performed to show whether there is any irregularity in the corneal shape or not. This was all things which was observed in each and every follow-ups. So let's see the results. So actually we have done a statistical analysis which was patty test was observed. Even we have done the ANOVA test. Okay, so if you can see here the result, females were more participate in our research. So you can see that for standard there were 34 while in custom there were 31. So the predominancy was greater in female at the age of 25 to 54. So what we have concluded from this is because females are more uh, 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 they have a concern of cosmetics for make them beautify. So females are most interested in LASIK surgeries. Again, for the matrimonial purpose, at the time of marriage, females are more concerned that they don't want to look like chasmis. Okay, so it can be a reason that females were more participated in our research. Okay, let's see the mean spherocylindrical equivalent. So the average customized preoperative spherocylindrical equivalent was minus 3.7, which reduces post-operatively 7 day 1 month by 0.11 to 0.29. While in standard LASIK surgery, preoperative was minus 3.8, which was a mean value, while at 1 week and 1 month, this is the value. Okay, so you can see that there is not a drastic difference between both surgeries post-operatively. So both are almost same in this case. The just see the difference. It's 0.29 and 0.09. So sometimes it can be because uh, in custom there were 1 to 2 patients who were having a higher refractive error of -5, -6 more than a standard. So sometimes it can be a variation between two groups in terms of any patient, but overall you can see that both have a good effects or make the eye near to emmetropic in this condition. While uh, observing the higher order aberrations, you can see here that pre-operatively in customized patients who are having 100 eyes, the mean higher order aberration was 0.61, which reduces to 0.46 after 1 week and 0.422 after 1 month. While when you can compare the standard LASIK surgeries for 100 eyes, the pre-operative HOA was 0.609, while after 1 week it reduces to 0.558 and reduces to 0.556 after 1 month. But if you can compare these two things, that you can confirm that custom LASIK surgery improves the higher order aberrations to much extent than standard LASIK surgery. So we have concluded from this that yes, custom LASIK surgery not only improves the lower order aberrations, but it also improves the higher order aberrations. So you can see from this graph that the the line decline from 1 week to 1 month in in customized LASIK surgeries for higher order aberrations. It's 0.422, while for standard it is 0.556. So yes, there is a drastic change in higher order aberrations from custom to standard LASIK surgery. While for contrast sensitivity, when we compare the custom and standard, you can see that after 1 month there is a very nominal difference in contrast sensitivity. So both can be considered same when we have a contrast sensitivity for custom and standard LASIK surgery. Okay, even you can see the p value for 1 week, 1 month, and 1 week to 1 month follow up. So there is not major change in contrast sensitivity, but yes, you can say that custom LASIK surgery is a better option when we talk of contrast sensitivity. Even we have compared the complaints of patients post-operatively for 1 week and 1 month. So you can see here in custom patients that the glare was less. So only seven eyes or uh, sorry, 7 patients just complained the problem of glare. While you can see in standard LASIK surgery, 14 patients complain of glare. Again, in 37 patients, there were no complaint post-operatively in custom patients, while in standard there were only 29 patients who were not complaining anything. So yes, you can say that it is a painless procedure. The patients are more comfortable with a customized LASIK surgery than standard LASIK procedure. Let's see the discussion. So a study done by Freddy also shows that 60% female were there in his study. Okay, because of the same reason that they want to be cosmetically good. They have certain problems at the time of marriage, so they don't want to wear glasses. Either they will go for LASIK surgery, or they will find any other alternative to correct the refractive error. Again, the study done by Igor in March 2004 shows that 88% contrast sensitivity was improved in different guided LASIK surgery, which was customized, while only 40% of contrast sensitivity was improved in standard LASIK surgery. Again, for dryness and recurrent erosion after refractive surgery, Hovensian found that 5.6% of patients had complained of eyelid stickiness on waking in LASIK patients, while a study done by Huggins Kim found that 19.3% of patients has a reduction in glare at 1 week, which further reduces to 5.3% at 2 months. So yes, you can say that as the time passes from 1 month to 3 months to 6 months, the glare problem reduces in both the surgery. But customized surgery is far more better compared to your standard surgery in terms of night vision problem or night glare. Again, a study done by Jin Zhang on visual performance after conventional LASIK and different guided LASIK surgery with iris registration shows that the value of higher order aberrations and Zernick's coefficient like trefoil coma, spherical aberrations in customized LASIK surgeries were lower than those in conventional standard LASIK surgeries even after 3 months, 6 months and 12 months of surgery. So this is a very good evidence that we found while we were performing our research. Even the study done by Alberto on comparison of custom ablation and conventional ablation LASIK surgery on MAPS and MAP astigmatic patients, it shows that after 6 months post-operatively, higher order aberrations root mean square value was 0.56 micron for custom, while it was higher in conventional, which was 0.72 microns. So there is a significant difference in customized LASIK surgery with a standard LASIK surgery. So let's see the conclusion of our research, that refractive errors like low myopia and low astigmatism in relation to standard and custom LASIK surgery give comparable results in relation to visual acuity and residual refractive error. So both are equally same for low myops and low astigmatics. But for moderate myops and moderate astigmatic patients, customized LASIK surgery is far more better than your standard LASIK surgery. Again, symptomatically, patients who have undergone customized LASIK surgeries are much happier than a standard treatment because of iris registration, accuracy, and delivery of laser treatment, which make specific uh, scenario for that patient. So even if you move your eye, the customized LASIK surgery will guide accordingly. While in standard, there is no such benefit when the patient move their eyes. So it will just have a of your uh, complaint or the symptoms of the patient. So the quality of vision is better in custom as compared to standard. So this was a final conclusion of the research. So uh, if you have any query regarding the standard procedure or custom procedure, you can ask me. So this was it. Thank you, everyone. So you can ask me any questions.
Thank you, Uptam Varshney, for your nice presentations talking through about this custom LASIKs. If anybody has a questions, I would like to take the questions at the moment. Anybody from our participants group, if any questions, if they have, I'm happy to take that questions. Uh, this is really a nice topic. I feel that I also get fascinated uh, with the stuff like astigmatic corrections. Um, I think it's a very important topic because the astigmatism causes people normally the symptom of distance and near visual problem, and addressing that issue with the in terms of higher aberrations, I think is a quite precise to look at that problem. Just few more things to add that I'm a little bit interested in looking at the high order aberrations, how it predicts better outcome in the custom LASIK, or the visual symptoms, how the visual symptoms are predicted with the custom LASIKs. I think this might be more interesting to explore further, maybe using the sort of regression analysis. I think we can point out which are the most determining factors. It's a really nice topic. I really appreciate this topic for this topic. Um,
Thank you
but I just like
for
to,
your
yeah,
appreciation.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I just like to ask one thing that this might be interesting to the audience. So you talk about the realistic expectations. This is a little bit vague at this moment. So would you please just clarify about this to our participants so that they be clear with that?
When we talk of LASIK surgery, prior to the surgery to the patients, that you will have the good visual outcomes and everything, but you should also explain that the realistic expectation is not as much as good with LASIK surgery sometimes. So prior to that, we should always check all the pre-operative investigations like wavefront aberrometry, the topography reports or pentagram reports, and then only we should explain them the realistic expectations. Otherwise, you're like, one of the patient's friend have done the LASIK surgery. He have a good expectation and he have a good outcome also, but his friend have, when he did the LASIK surgery, he was not so much satisfied. So it is not always that the both patients or all the patients will have a same realistic outcome. So it is very important to explain each and every patient that it varies from eye to eye, refractive error to refractive error, and the higher order aberrations value to various higher order aberration values of other eyes. So the realistic expectation should be explained prior to the surgeries. Otherwise, patient after surgery will always complain that I am not satisfied with the procedure.